totally botched that. How we doing? This is Rob, and I am back with episode number 355 of Shut Up and Grind. We're all about overcoming obstacles, defying the odds, and helping you clear whatever's blocking the path to whatever success you want in this lifetime. So here we're about empowering, inspiring, helping you to ignite that beast within that's just itching to come out. And then we're going to inspire you to unleash that beast and charge towards whatever it is you want to accomplish. So really quick about me, if you're brand new to the show, regardless of what platform you're on, please hit that like button, subscribe, download, follow, whatever you do, because we're sharing light here. There's so much darkness being displayed in the world, and we're here to put light out there. So please help us spread that word. And here's a little bit about me, and then we'll get back with my guest in today's topic. I started doing workshops and doing groups where I'm getting up in front of others, like outside of the gym setting, and talking about resilience and perseverance and goal setting and vision and taking action.
You should know what 1 hour of your time is worth. You should know the value that you bring to the marketplace. You know what your passion is.
Starts with clarity of vision. If you don't have the clarity of vision, whatever next thing you get, you're not going to see it through because you don't have the clarity of vision. So the point of my pain was being told you will never run or jump again. And all that stuff, I was like, you know what? Like, I want to be able to take this even bigger.
If you know why you do what you do, you have to know how to charge for what you do. That's how you're going to change your life, and that's how you're going to leave a legacy for your children and your family. You got to know your worth.
And as always, I don't vet my guests ahead of time. I do a quick glance at their bio so I have a little idea of what we're going to be discussing. But these conversations are unfiltered, they're raw, and they're happening in real time. Like, I'm learning about my guest in real time. So my reactions are all real. So I don't do the scripted stuff. So if that's what you're used to, you're not going to get that here. But stick around because we're going to have a great conversation. So we titled today's episode From Crash to Calling, Alan's Blueprint for Next Level Rising. So let's welcome Alan to the show. How you doing?
Robert, that was an awesome intro. Thank you for having me. Anyone out there watching or listening, I do not take it lightly. I agree with you. The 21st century has a lot of noise. It has a lot of information that is not of value and a lot of negativity. So I'm here to really help people kind of pay attention to the right things, and I won't waste a second of anyone's time. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
See, and the one thing I did like in your bio was where you said the no BS approach, because I absolutely love that. Because, I mean, again, this is called Shut Up and Grind. You know what I mean? Like, it's, if you got a goal, you got to get after it. You only have today. We all have the same hours. Get after it today. There's no right time. It doesn't have to be perfect, and you can always upgrade. You know, so let's get into a little bit about your backstory. So before we go fully there, how would you describe yourself?
How would I describe myself? I think we just did an episode earlier today on identity, and I do think the way you describe yourself is really critical. I always say what you say, think, do, feel, and believe determines your identity, particularly about yourself, and then your identity determines what you say, think, do, feel, and believe. So it's this sort of feedback loop. If you think you're an athlete, you're going to do athletic things. You're going to look more like an athlete. That's going to make you feel more like an athlete. It's going to get deeper and deeper into your identity. So what I would describe myself as now, an extremely tenacious, started from a very, very, very challenging upbringing, dealt with a lot of abandonment. Birth father died when I was 2, stepfather left when I was 14, raised by 2 women, and just someone who has always found a way to overcome adversity. And one thing that has become very clear now, I've been a coach, trainer, and podcaster now for 10 years. And one thing that's become very, very clear is that not everyone believes in themselves. So I'm someone who believes in himself a lot. I believe in human potential, maybe more than anyone I've ever met. I'm here. I always open my speeches with, I care about your success first, your fulfillment second, and your feelings third. I do agree, shut up and grind. I love it. I think that we've gotten very timid, and I think that we've gotten lazy. And I'm not trying to be unkind, but I do think that if you can't focus for, a long period of time, I believe in the old fundamentals. That's what I would describe myself as. The old fundamentals of humility, work ethic, diligence, prudence, organization. The old ways before the 21st century, when things like, I saw a YouTube video once that said discipline doesn't work. And the whole video was about, and it's absolute garbage. So I believe in discipline. I believe in the fundamentals. I believe in hard work and sweat equity. I believe that hard work matters as much as smart work. And I think in the 21st century, a lot of us have gotten very entitled. So I believe in the old ways in some ways. And I guess that's how I describe myself. Yeah.
I think in all the episodes that I've done, that is the absolute best answer to that question.
Thank you, brother. I'm super grateful to hear that. Thank you.
Yeah, like you got really deep on that. Usually people just tend to give me their resume. I'm like, I don't want your resume. I'm like, who are you at your core? Like, if I'm ever asked that question, I always say I'm a competitor. Like, nice. I look at everything in life through the lens of a competitor. Like it said in my intro, I was told I was never run a jump again. I was like, all right, game on. Nice. And that's how I tackle everything. And to your point about seeing human potential, that's one of the things that is a stressor for me, is when people don't believe in themselves. It's like, we were put on this earth to do amazing things. It's like, you have a talent, you have a gift. Like, why are you shielding that gift from the world? It's nice. Like, we can get into that hypothetical later. But now, you said you always found a way, right? You always found a way. Where did that level of resilience come from?
Massive adversity. So, now I've come to realize that there was a quote that I used to love, and it was, your adversity is your advantage because it allows you to build the emotional and mental strength to go do extraordinary things that ordinary people can't do. And I really loved that quote 10 years ago. I now have come to realize, through coaching hundreds of people at this point, 20 clients currently, one-on-one clients. One of them's 4 times a week, 2 of them are 3 times a week. So it's very consistent. And so I'm not just talking, is the reason I'm saying that. I'm not just talking. These are real people in the real world. And what I've come to realize is that if you don't have something called high self-efficacy is the fancy psychological word for self-belief, adversity actually won't be your advantage. There's something called an ACE score, adverse childhood experiences. And if you have a high ACE score, statistically speaking, you're going to reach an early mortality. You're going to drugs, alcohol, the whole nine, escapism, hedonism, all these things, nihilism, suicide. And so I grew up with a lot of abandonment. Birth father died when I was 2. He was 28. I had a stepfather from age 3 to 14. He left when I was 14, and I, to this day, have never seen or spoken to a single one of them since.
Wow.
That same year, when I was 14, my mom got in a fight with my Aunt Sandy, and we got ostracized from her side of the family. And to this day, I've only seen or spoken to 2 people from that entire extended family. And we didn't really associate with my birth father's side anymore, the McCorkles. My real last name is McCorkle. Lazaros. I'm the only non-Greek Lazarus. I usually joke. People say Lazarus because they see I'm blonde hair, blue-eyed. Lazarus, really? And so anyways, ultimately, by the time I'm 14 years old, I kind of sort of lost 3 families. Just tremendous amounts of abandonment and challenge, not to mention my stepfather, when he left, he took 95% of the income with him. So we went from .com bubble. He worked for a company called AGFA, born and raised in Massachusetts. And they did hospital computers during the .com era. So we did very well. Wow. Boats, ski trips, the 90s. I mean, the 90s were wild, especially in the U.S., largest economy in the world by a significant margin. And so from the outside in, things looked really good. But from the inside out, my mom and stepdad did not get along, and that is a polite way to put it.
Yes.
And essentially when he left, I went from boats and ski trips to, I get free lunch at school now because our income is so low. I don't know how I'm going to go to college, all that stuff. And so how did I develop tenacity and resilience? Mostly pain and adversity. However, I had a lot of self-belief. So every time life threw horrible things my way, my response to that, I had 2 trauma responses to that. So there's fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. And fawn is to appease. You become this sort of social coward. I definitely, all that abandonment, the way I unconsciously dealt with it, I didn't know this at the time, but now it's obvious. I was a chameleon. Fit in, fit in, fit in. Don't lose any friends and family. Don't lose any more friends and family. So just appease, and just fit in, fit in, fit in. become whatever the room needs you to be to not be abandoned. But behind the scenes, when no one was watching, it was fight. It was aim higher, work harder, get smarter. Aim higher, work harder, get smarter. And I'm telling you, I dialed that up to 11. I got straight A's through all of high school. I got into college. It was $50,000 a year. I got all the scholarships and financial aid and awards that I possibly could. I got my computer engineering degree, got my master's in business, and then I became a 1% earner in my early 20s. 84 grand worth of college debt paid off in a single year, $150,000 in a Vanguard account, and then I get in my car accident at 26. Dad died in a car when he was 28, so this was the second chance my dad never got. And so that's the shortest possible version I can give you, but ultimately I went through what I call the 4 buckets of life. The first one is you're unsuccessful and unfulfilled. That was me for sure in high school. People would say, these are the best years of your life. And I would say, God, I hope not. It is terrible. You think I look young now, man. Imagine me in high school, right? So the second bucket is externally successful, but internally unfulfilled. And at 26, I was that. I did the traditional path. I did preschool, kindergarten, middle school, high school, college, and corporate. And I was crushing it in corporate because I was used to being broke in high school and college when my stepdad left. So I didn't need much. I didn't spend much, and I just made a lot.
Yes.
And a computer engineer with an MBA combo in the 21st century, it worked very well for me. Then I went into the third bucket. I went past broke. I found personal development. I found personal growth. I found self-improvement. I found fitness. I went all in, dialed that up to 11. As you can see, I'm not big into moderation. Quit drinking, quit all drugs, quit everything. I always joke my last remaining vice is caffeine, and no one's taken it from me. But ultimately, after 26, that was 10 years ago. I'm 36 now, even though I still look 12. And that 10-year journey was, I went past broke. I ended up externally unsuccessful and internally fulfilled. I started a little company called Lazaros LLC, what you'll never learn in school but desperately need to know. And good luck getting speeches at high schools and colleges with that slogan, right? And then eventually I created what's called Next Level University. I'm the CEO and founder of that now. And now we have 2,096 episodes as of earlier today, and an 18-person team, and very, very successful. We work with 105 podcasters and business owners now, and I coach 20 individuals and all this stuff. So we've definitely, it's been a journey. I'm 36, so I don't believe in arriving. I'm a striver, so I don't want to talk from some mountaintop. I'm still young. But at the end of the day, adversity it will either break you and break you down, or it will build you into something unbelievably powerful.
All right, so you unpacked a lot there. So let's start with when your stepfather left at 14, because you said with him left was 95%. So how did you adapt to the lifestyle change first, and then compare it to in 26 when you got everything flying on all cylinders, and then you have that moment, this is the second chance that my father never got. So just compare those two mindsets for me.
So, and I appreciate the question. This is great. I actually think in hindsight, when it came to financial and material means, I actually was a little spoiled. And when my stepdad left, that got ripped out from under me. I mean, I used to get early Christmas presents, Xbox, Dreamcast, video game, whatever. And don't get me wrong, I was not spoiled in terms of a family unit. Like I said, my mom and stepdad, didn't get along. And so things were pretty bad on the family front. But on the material front, we had a yacht. So he got the apartment building and the yacht. We got the house and the dog. But when he left, that was 95% of the income. So I went from boats and ski trips and having a yacht, deep sea fishing, all this stuff, to I get free lunch at school now because my income is so low. I shop at Salvation Army now. And again, we weren't going to starve. I want to make that clear. Like, born and raised in Massachusetts, it's an affluent area, but we were definitely struggle bussing. My mom trades in her BMW for a little Honda Civic. I don't know how I'm going to go to college. So my dream college was WPI, Worcester Polytechnic Institute. I always wanted to go there, be an engineer. Kind of like a mini MIT in Massachusetts. It was $50,000 a year back then. Wow. So I went from I hope I get in to even if I do get in, I can't go. And that's when I bootstrapped through all of high school. I got behind me what's called the President's Award, President's Academic Award. You get straight A's through all of high school. 16 report cards straight, 4 per year, 4 years. And I got all the scholarships and financial aid. But so we went from a lot of money and a lot of snowmobiles and motorcycles and all that to basically we don't even have cable because we're trying to save money. How do we keep the house in the family type of thing? And I look into the future. Okay, no dad, no trust fund, no generational wealth. So we're in some trouble here. And luckily, aim higher, work harder, get smarter. My mom always taught me, she said, you can be a CEO or you can be a farmer. I'm going to love you either way. But if you are a CEO, you can wake up one day and just decide to be a farmer, but it doesn't work the other way around. So aim high.
True.
Aim high and you'll have choices. And that was really, really good advice, despite the fact that a lot of my mother's advice was not good in hindsight. I know I'm not the only one who feels that way. Turns out some of our role models didn't know anything. Who knew? Right?
Thanks.
Yeah, but back to your original question of what it was like to go from yacht to broke. Then all of a sudden, I'm broke in high school and college. And again, I'm not going to starve, but broke. And I crush it. I graduate with high distinction, master's in business, and then I go into the marketplace. So I grew up, college, I graduated 2013, bachelor's, master's in 2014. Nope, 2012 and 2013. And then 21st century computer engineer, master's in business, iRobot, Sensata Technologies, Oz Development, company called Cognex, Lens Americas, all these tech companies. 21st century. This is when the economy is really coming back after 2008, particularly in the US, in New England, and I just crushed it. So I went from 65K a year to 85, from 85 to 105, from 105 to 125, and then 125 to, I peaked at 180.
Nice.
So I was a global, not America. I think in America it's like 400 plus for top 1%, but globally I was top 1% earner in my early 20s. And I didn't, now here's the cool part. I didn't need much because I learned to go without. So I had a 2004 Volkswagen Passat. I bought in $5,000 cash. I lived with my girlfriend at the time. Her name was Courtney. We lived on a lake. It was $500 each. It was like a nice little place. I didn't need much. I didn't need nice clothes. I don't need stuff. Like, that's one of the benefits. I always say this to early entrepreneurs. Low expenses are a fucking superpower.
Yes.
Because when you learn to need nothing, you can have everything because you can take risks other people can't. Now, that's also dangerous if you don't have high self-belief and tenacity and grit and discipline and all that other stuff. But ultimately, I went from really well off financially when my stepdad was around to zilch, back to really well off really quick. Like, I had $150,000 in a Vanguard account and the stocks were crushing it because I picked tech companies that I knew would win, and knew is in quotes because no one really knows, but I had a good proclivity to it. And then I got in my car accident and I started my own company. I liquidated everything and went past broke. Wow. And then in my 30s, I finally got to the last bucket that everyone wants to get to, which is you're externally successful and internally fulfilled. And that's when it's a mountain that gets higher as you climb it. And if you can authentically look yourself in the mirror and say, I want my future to be an amplified version of what it already is, healthy, wealthy, and in love, I mean, that's the place everyone wants to get to. And statistically, almost no one does.
I know.
It's really hard. Yeah, it's scary to think of that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just want to piggyback off of what you said. Like, when I started my gym, so I was in the restaurant industry for 20 years and, managing restaurants because I had dropped out of college 3 times. Right. So I got to where I am now without, like, I'm the complete opposite of all of your education. I went the other route. but what I did do was once I started doing fitness, originally it was an outlet for me because yes, I was successful, on the financial end, but I hated going into that restaurant towards the end, so that fulfillment wasn't there. Yeah. So when I started the gym, I actually started it in my garage. And to your point, like, we didn't need all the bells and whistles to get started. Yeah. We didn't need that. And like I said in my intro, just get started and then upgrade. So like nice. I had people come in to my home to train in my garage, and this wasn't like one of those fancy garage gyms. You know what I mean? It was not
for a monthly membership. For a monthly membership, nice. Yep. With people a free trial and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Were you people a personal trainer?
3 days a week. Yeah, nice. Yeah. That's what I do now. Yeah. So So when we opened the gym, like we opened it up, I had two guys helping me. We opened it up with $33,000. We didn't have all the bells and whistles, but we had enough to get started.
Nice.
And just each month, like we were profitable right from the first month too. It's like
Nice.
I went into it with 150 clients,
Nice.
and we peaked at just under 300K, for sales.
Nice.
But the thing is that each month we added stuff. Each month we added something else. Then we built something else. Then we added something else. And then I finally had my dream gym. Before
Nice.
COVID came and wrecked it.
Yeah, 4 months. 4 months of no revenue, rut-row.
Oh my God, it was a little bit more than that. Yeah, it was bad. I lost like 75% of my clients during that time.
What part of the country?
I'm right below you. I'm in Rhode Island.
Oh, cool, man. Nice.
Yep.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. So shooting it back to you. So now you're going through all this adversity. You're going through the highs. You're going through the lows. What kept your eye on the prize?
Yeah. Contemplation. So when you win, you celebrate. When you lose, you contemplate. I always used to say, whether we're winning or losing, we contemplate. And I think I'm kind of an esoteric weirdo. I have an engineering brain, so for me, everything's numbers. And I've been trying to figure out life my whole life because I would, like I said, where I grew up, it was I playfully refer to it as the Boulevard of Broken Dreams. And the people that we spent time with, they hated their life, they hated their jobs. I remember thinking, you guys don't even like each other, never mind love each other. So marriage scared the hell out of me. I saw really unfulfilled human beings. At the end of the day, they're just hate their job, hate their wife, hate their husband, like not happy people. And I think statistically now I realize that that's not that uncommon, but it was pretty bad. And they all wanted to party. Like my mom and stepdad had what I refer to as a pleasure-centered paradigm. They believe life is have as much fun as possible. And so we surrounded ourselves with people who wanted to have as much fun as possible. And by a byproduct, we had a lot of fun. We had a party house. We lived on a lake. I mean, it was a lot of fun. But it was also not really good at building a bigger, better, brighter future. And there was no personal development whatsoever to be found. I mean, zero personal development, right? And to me, that's, I think, why when I found personal development at 26, it changed everything. So what kept my eye on the prize was, for some reason, and again, this only works if you have high self-efficacy, because I've since studied a lot of this and tried to figure out, like, why me? Because the people I grew up with, not a lot of them achieved their dreams. As a matter of fact, most of them back then would talk about these huge dreams that they have with me, and most of them haven't achieved their dreams, which for me is very alarming because it's, even if you don't achieve it, at least keep going for it, right?
Yes.
For me, to me, life is very empty without goals and dreams. But if you do the research, I did deep research on this, only 3% of people have clear written goals. Are you kidding me? And again, I'm not trying to be pretentious. I've never not had clear written goals. I'm an engineer. I wanted to get straight A's in high school. I wanted to go to WPI. So I've always been a very future oriented person, right? I always said that my career wouldn't even start until my 50s. I was arguing who was smarter, Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, when I built my first computer when I was 12. So I'm this weirdo, right? But I'm in this small-minded town. So now I get it. It's very clear. What kept my eye on the prize, though, to answer your original question, is the past was painful. The present was painful. So I went into the future. And the future for me was always my saving grace. I always knew, no matter how hard my past was, and no matter how bad my present was, I could build a future that was bright. And now I'm 36, right? So I'm still young, but depends how you look at it. I mean, my life is 1,000 times better than it was. I quit drinking 6 years ago. There's no drama. There's no trauma. We have this peace. We have this wonderful place we live. Like, I have an 18-person team. We have a community. We're heard in 175 countries. We have over 2,000 episodes. So I've designed a life. To me, everything's by design. Nothing's by accident. I'm an engineer, so everything's by design. And I now have come to realize how weird that is, and I think that's why no one likes me. But ultimately, to me, if you don't design your future in advance, you're in some serious trouble. As a matter of fact, I heard on your intro that if you don't have a vision, I mean, you didn't say it like this, so I'm paraphrasing. If you don't have a vision, you're fucked. And the truth is, people think like, oh, it'll all work out. No, it won't. Hey, no, it won't. Nothing works out by default. Entropy states, it's a law of the physical universe. Entropy states that if you don't inject time and effort, things will go into chaos. And that was what I grew up in. And I'm not about it. I'm invest today for a brighter tomorrow. That's what kept me going. Is my bright future has always been there for me, no matter how dark it got.
Yeah, and I want to give you an example to illustrate what you just said, just to put it into a scenario. So I'm working with one of the women at the gym this morning, and her goal is to do an unassisted pull-up. And so I had her doing inverted rows earlier. Nice. And she's like, I can't go all the way up. I'm like, stop it with that. You can't get all the way up yet.
Nice.
Like we are playing the long game. Yep. So we have to build to where we can get you there. And then we'll transfer to doing banded pull-ups. And then we'll transfer to doing unassisted pull-ups. And then from there, we go to weighted pull-ups. Nice. I said, so we're going to exceed your goal. But you have to be willing to play the long game. We live in this instant gratification world now where everybody wants everything yesterday. And that's not the case. And it's like you wake up, grind, repeat. Wake up, grind, repeat. If there's a day when you need to rest, take some rest, but grind for most of it.
100%.
You know, like that's the part that people don't understand. Go ahead.
No, Robert, I actually think we've lost. And again, when I say we, I was on with a podcaster yesterday from Nigeria. And I said something that I do think is somewhat true. You're in America as well. I do think that there's some complacency that comes with abundance. And obviously we live in the largest economy in the world. You can look that up. I'm not trying to be, I'm not a pretentious American saying we're the best. It's not what I'm saying. Trust me. But we do have the largest GDP by far, if you look at the statistics.
Yes.
So abundance has made us super complacent. And we're the most obese country on planet Earth. And I think we're losing it a bit. And I don't want to be a dick, but I say this respectfully. We're losing the tenacity and the drive and the excellence that is necessary to build a great country. And I'm not into politics or religion or any of that. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is complacency, it has to go. So I like the shut up and grind. And I think that because people are so afraid of toxic masculinity, I think they end up not having the grind culture embedded in their nervous system. And for me, I understand why. I'm a man with a therapist, right? I get it. Okay. A lot of people, I look soft as puppy shit. I get it. I'm blonde haired, blue eyed, but listen, I haven't missed a workout in 1,198 days as of today.
Wow.
1,190. My girlfriend and I, we track it every day. And so I used to be too much of a social coward to share things like that. I would just have that behind the scenes and tell no one and then hope that they'd connect the dots. And now I realized I'm such a coward. I need to just say it. We are getting fucking lazy. Yes. And we need to get our shit together. If you can't focus for an hour a day and you're scrolling, the average Netflix is 2 hours and 48 minutes per day. Wow. I crunched the numbers that in a year, that's 20 weeks of 8-hour shifts. And those are the people complaining they don't have money. Mm-hmm. It's like, listen, you can Uber, you can dog sit. There's a lot of opportunity out there if you just get your mind right and your body right. And I realize that tough love is sometimes the solution. And so I respect it. I do. And I'm with it. And I love the shut up and grind thing. I think you got to grind. The goal is not rest. Rest is a necessity for productivity, right? And I have intentional recovery on my whiteboard downstairs as a reminder, like Alan. I think there's two types of people. Some people struggle to work hard and the goal is rest. I think those people are in some trouble in the future.
Yes.
My goal is productivity and I have to rest as a necessity. And my girlfriend is like that as well, future wife. So you're clearly wired that way. And there's people say, well, work hard, not smart. No. You don't work smart until after you've worked hard and beat your head against the wall long enough to work. I have a company with 18 people and no headquarters. So we're virtual, fully virtual all over the world. You better believe we work hard first and then innovate. because it's not until you beat your head against the wall that you usually come up with a frustrated innovation solution based on, that's what I would say to people is, if you aren't willing to really grind, it's going to be very hard for you to work smarter, because usually working smarter is a byproduct of the frustration that comes from obstacles of working hard.
See, so remember earlier when I asked you to describe yourself, and I said that's probably the best answer I've given out of all of these episodes. I mean, that I've heard in all these episodes, because I actually am getting ready to launch a business. Right? It's called Speak About Yourself Out Loud. And it's because when everything shut down in 2020, I started joining mastermind groups, going back to your get smarter philosophy. I was like, well, I can't be in the gym. I mean, like, I have enough stuff to work out here at home. I was like, but I can't be in the gym. I can't be working on my gym. So I'm going to learn new skills. So I learned branding, marketing, media, nice, all this good stuff. But as I'm in all these mastermind groups, as people were going through and introducing themselves, 90% of the people sucked at it.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, how can you have this successful company and you can't even define yourself at your core? And so I just started inboxing people saying, hey, I can help you with that intro. Like, hey, nice, I can help you with that intro.
Nice.
And then I brought a few of them onto a Zoom call just to kind of like pick their brains and see if I'm onto something here. And sure enough, like, people ended up getting deeper into their stories, and that's why I put above us, your true power lies in your story, because nice, people are afraid to get vulnerable, especially men. Men don't want to get up in front of people and show quote unquote weakness. But my retort to that is always, if men weren't meant to cry, why do we have tear ducts?
Nice.
It's okay to be vulnerable. Like, I watched my father die in 2019, and the very next day I had a podcast scheduled. And I easily could have canceled it. But no, I got up, because I always preach, you got to show up, right? Like, you got to show up. So I showed up for that episode, and I bawled almost the entire thing.
Nice.
But I still showed up, and I let my audience see that vulnerability. It's like, it's okay to share the hurtful parts of your story. But what that does now is when other people go through stuff, they reach out, or they tune into past episodes. I've done many episodes on grief and how to cope with that. Because everything in life, again, back to your point, you got to grind. You got to grind. Even in dealing with grief, dealing with sadness, dealing with all of that stuff, you got to process it. But all right, what is this teaching me? Like, how can I use this feeling to inspire somebody else? Because like once you make it bigger than you, you're going to notice that those feelings start to dissipate. What are your thoughts on that?
Making it bigger than you is huge. It is bigger than you. And the vulnerability piece too, when we crossed episode 1,000, Kevin and I, we just ended up, Kevin's my business partner, co-host, and we both grew up in the same small town, both grew up without fathers. He was raised by his mom and his Mima, didn't meet his dad till he was 27. I was raised by my mom and my older sister. And we used to spend Father's Day together every year. Traditionally sad. Now we have actually a charity called the Next Level Hope Foundation. We rent out a YMCA now in Worcester. We rent out, Worcester. So we rent out the YMCA Greendale in Worcester, and we bring kids of single parents, and we play basketball and sports and face paint and all kinds of stuff. So we take a traditionally sad day, and it's actually coming up, by the way. But ultimately, my point of all that is the 1,000th episode ended up being a lot of tears. And like I said, I'm a man with a therapist, and statistically that's very low. As a matter of fact, I have a therapy call with Carol later today. As a matter of fact, that's my next meeting. Yep, that's my next meeting. So why does that matter? Because what appears weak from the outside in is actually strong from the inside out. And for men in particular, if you're living this life on the surface and you're not able to go deep, and even when you ask me, like, describe yourself, what came up for me was fear of coming off as pretentious. Because you're not allowed to call yourself gifted. You're not allowed to call yourself hardworking. You're not allowed to say that you're tenacious, because you're not allowed to really speak positively about yourself socially. I mean, behind the scenes, you're supposed to think all those things and somehow get through life, but you're not ever allowed to say, good things about yourself socially, unfortunately, especially if you look like a Ken doll. But anyway, so at the end of the day, I eventually realized, you know what? I am only liked usually when I'm losing self-respect. And so I've decided to optimize my life around to reach my own unique potential and help others do the same. Everything else is secondary. That's my calling. And that's what I'm fighting for every day. So it is bigger than me. And so when I have that moment of fear of, I don't really want to say that, but then my highest self goes, have the courage to say it. You have to say it. You have to. That's the high road. The high road is never the easy road.
Exactly.
The high road is always the one that takes humility, courage, and vulnerability. The high road is always the one that's harder and that's going to make more of you. And so everything can build you up or break you down, and it all comes down to our choices and what we believe and what we say, think, do, and feel. And when you start to learn this, you start to become sort of the captain of your own life. And a lot of this sounds fortune cookie, but ultimately, before my car accident, I was an achiever who had a lot of friends and who had a lot of fun. I brought my high school friends to college, my college friends to corporate. There was a referral program at the company Cognex that I worked at, and I brought 4 or 5 people, and I got bonuses for that because of the headhunters. And I think I was trying to drag people up a mountain they didn't want to climb. I think unconsciously I was trying to help everyone achieve their goals and dreams, and they didn't believe in themselves as much as I did, and they weren't willing to work as hard, for sure. I mean, holy crap. And to me, if you're not willing to work hard, you can't really achieve that much. You really, unless you're going to just status your way and network your way, which a lot of people, I call them party hoppers, right? That's all they do is just status, perception, social media, buy your followers, that whole 9. But I'm with you.
Let me piggyback on that real quick.
Yep.
Real quick, because to your point, not everybody has that, right? Not everybody has that mindset like we do. And I remember specifically when I was with my ex, we were in the gym, and actually I was in the gym, and I came home and I was just like a little bothered, and I was like, I don't know what was in the air tonight, but those people were not pushing. I was like, I don't understand. But because me, I only have one speed. You know what I mean? It's like, I just go. I go. Whatever it is, I play to win. That's how it is. It's like,
where does that come from? Because I'm that way too. I dial everything up to 11. To me, what's the point of doing it if you're not going to give it your all?
Exactly. Like, I don't want to waste my time. Like, I'm not there for the social aspect. You know, I put on my headphones and I crush. And like, I'll be in the gym and I'm done with my entire workout in 25 minutes. And there's one person that's only on their second machine. You know, they do one set and then they're on their phone. But Kelly said something to me that I never thought of, because I'm like, what is wrong with them? And she's like, babe, not everybody thinks like you.
Yeah.
And that hit me with like a ton of bricks. I was like, So to your point about dragging people up a mountain that they don't want to climb, that's what was happening there. Like, I was like, I'm trying to get the best out of you, but you don't want the best for you.
100%. And you don't want to pay the price. They don't want to pay the price. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I realize this. I think this will help any business owners out there. So we, in 2024, we had beginning of 2024, end of 2023, we had a 24-person team, 24 departments, and a charity. We were growing 119% year over year on average.
That's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, it was unbelievable. But we lost our minds too. It's easy to get cocky when you're winning like that, right?
True.
Post-COVID was really big for us. And then it was 18% in 2023. And it was 11% in 2024. So talk about us overextending. For non-business owners, it basically means, buy it, do it, run it, hire it. You know, things are rolling. Try to capture it. Fish are jumping in the boat. And that doesn't last forever. So you got to stay super humble. When you're winning, stay humble. When you're losing, stay optimistic.
Yes.
So when you're losing, you need self-belief. You need belief and hope. When you're winning, you need humility. You need tenacity and humility. Stay the fucking course. Pardon my French, I'm not allowed to swear. But
that's good.
What came up for me there was we eventually had to sit down, Kevin and I said, brother, we overextended. We're in some trouble here. What are the departments we would go out of business without? We only came up with 8. 8 of the 24.
Wow.
So we overextended a lot, and now we've gotten a lot of success. And Kevin and I earlier, he just got 3 new big clients, and he's like, "Dude, I think I need you to knock me down a peg. I'm getting cocky." And he was being playful because obviously he's humble enough to recognize that he's getting, when you're winning big, you just keep knocking them out of the park. It's really easy to get cocky, and as soon as you get cocky, you're going to start losing in business. Just period. But my point of all that is I had to come to the realization that people are not like me and don't think like me either, because we had 24 people on our team. We only have 18 now. And the reason why is because I believe in work ethic, humility, consistency, discipline. Like, I work 7 days a week. I have 6 days, Monday through Saturday, front facing from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. every single day, Monday through Saturday, every week. And then Sundays, no front facing, but I still work back office stuff. And my culture at my company was consistency. I mean, you don't do 2,094 episodes, 2,096 as of today, episodes in a row every single day without consistency being a part of your ethos.
Yes.
And what I realized is that most people don't want that. They don't want to work really hard. They don't want to pay the price. Everyone wants a 6-pack, but no one wants the discipline that it takes to actually create that. So at the end of the day, it all comes down to what the pros and cons and the core values and what you want. But I call it the want, love, hate framework. I want a great body. I love weight training. I hate dieting. Well, guess what I have to do? Dieting. I want more clients. I love one-on-one coaching. I hate social media. Guess what I have to master? And that takes humility. Everyone I've ever coached, and I did mindset coaching and fitness coaching and peak performance coaching and a little bit of life coaching and business consulting, and now I do business coaching. 20 business owners from all over the world, different cultures, different backgrounds, different people. All of them, I have to do the want, love, hate framework. Everything you want is on the other side of something you hate.
Yep.
And you can't delegate things. Like those masterminds that you were at, I guarantee you half of them were trying to teach you how to work less. It's not a real sustainable solution, in my opinion, especially not in my 30s, right? So at the end of the day, the want, love, hate framework is something I wanted to give you and give your listeners, because everything you want is on the other side of something you hate. The gold is buried where you least want to dig, and I think it takes humility to dig there.
Know what I say to my fitness clients? I say this, I coach track and field also, so I say this to my athletes.
Nice.
And I would say, you don't have to like it, you just have to be good at it.
Nice.
People will say, I hate running. Okay, well, running burns a lot of calories, and your goal is you want to lose 20 pounds.
Nice.
So we're not going to cut out the one thing that burns a lot of calories. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So you don't have to like it, you just have to excel at it.
100%.
You excel at it, and then you're going to get the benefit. And I have a very similar schedule. So I teach four classes in the morning. Sometimes I'll do personal training after the 4th class. I do my podcast. I usually guest on another podcast right after. Then I go to the high school for track practice. And then sometimes I have to go back to the gym for more personal training. And then I'm home. So my alarm goes off at 4:30 in the morning. And sometimes I don't, on nights that we have track meets, I won't get back home until sometime 9-10 p.m. And the alarm goes off at 4:30. There's no snooze in my world. Like, my alarm clock is a video of me reminding me of my goals.
Nice.
So that's the first words that I hear every morning, is that there's people out there counting on you. Get your ass out of bed.
That's awesome. Nice. You actually have that recorded where it says that? There's people out there counting on you? That's bigger than you, man. That's great. That's awesome.
Yes.
And
and that's what makes it easy to show up.
We're kindred spirits in that. The shut up and grind thing, a lot of people hate that. Dude, the truth is, I know a lot of people that are in their 40s and 50s, and some multimillionaires, one billionaire, mentors, all this stuff. And the unfortunate truth, and I'll share this here, is I stopped getting mentored by a couple millionaires because they started getting really soft. And I don't mean soft in a vulnerable way. I'm all for vulnerability and tears and all that. What I mean is private jet to the Bahama. Like, he's not working like he once was, and he's getting complacent, and I just can't be around it because you're not lighting my fire. I think we all have a fire lit inside of us. Some of us have this little candle, and some of us have the sun. And I'm very intense and I'm actually dialing it down quite a bit on here. Fortunately, you have a big fire, so I can dial it up quite a bit here too. But at the end of the day, you got to light that thing every day. And you can't ever let it go out. You can't, because when you do, you are dead in the water. This will be what I'll end with, because I know we got to jump here. I always say this. I think this quote has helped me a lot. The people who are grinding and growing toward their goals and dreams will always be the envy of the people sitting around feeling sorry for themselves.
Absolutely.
So 90% of success is just being consistent and improving. Consistent and improving. Consistent and improving. And doing the things that absolutely suck.
Yeah, and people run from that stuff. They absolutely run from it. It's like the thing that you want to accomplish the most is right on the other side. To echo what you said, it's right on the other side of what you don't want to do. And you also mentioned discipline earlier. And since I know that you like quotes, right? Mike Tyson said, discipline is doing what you hate, but doing it like you love it.
Yeah. 100%.
And that's spot on. All right, so give us some final words and let people know about your business and where they can find you.
Yeah, thank you again, Robert, for having me. I appreciate it. It's an honor.
Pleasure.
And what you're doing in the world, helping people inspire, motivate, educate, I love it. So where you can find me, nextleveluniverse.com. The podcast is called Next Level University. I say Next Level You, pun intended. Not Next Level Me, not Next Level Kevin, Next Level You. 1% improvement, personal development and success in your pocket from anywhere on the planet every day, completely free. We do an episode every single day. And the average length of our episodes is probably about 25 minutes. So these aren't little micro content. These are deeper episodes. And if you get 0.1% better every day for 50 years, I put $1 in a financial calculator for 50 years, 1/10 of 1%, that's 1/10 of a penny percent. It's $84 million. So you can get 84 million times better in this lifetime if you just stay consistent. Now, here's the scary part. If you take weekends off, that number goes way down. Way down. That's the law of compounding. I'm a big math guy.
Yeah.
So get a little better each day. That's what Next Level U is about. Next Level University, Next Level U, pun intended. And so we're on all the podcast platforms. We're on YouTube, all that stuff. I also have a new podcast called Business Growth University for business owners specifically, but you can reach out on Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. Google my name. As pretentious as it sounds, just ChatGPT or Google my name. All my stuff will come up. And if you have high work ethic and high humility and you have a sincere interest to reach your potential, please reach out. If you want big rewards for minimal effort, do not reach out to me under any circumstances. I will just be a pain in your ass.
I love that. Love it. Well, thank you for taking the time to come and share your experiences. I'm gonna have to have you on again and go deeper into just like the business end of it. You know,
I would love to.
To help.
Anytime, let me know.
With that. Yeah, absolutely. Because like the people that get the most value out of this show are those people who are stuck. Like they're just stuck in life. You know, and so sharing these stories of you hitting those valleys and how you were able to have that resilience to forge through and have even bigger success. So I love what you're doing. Keep at it, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you so much. Let me know. We'll do this round 2.
Awesome. All right. Take care.
You too.
Did I miss the button? I think I missed the button. The outro doesn't.
You've been listening to Shut Up and Grind. We hope you've gotten some useful and practical information from this show. Robert has over 20 years experience pouring his knowledge and expertise at many events in the service and fitness industry, as well as secondary schools and universities. He has a true passion for helping others break through the barriers that are holding them back. To book Robert B. Foster to speak or to reach out, go to robertbfoster.com. Till next time, shut up and grind.